Okay, in this particular demonstration we're looking at Asta Powerproject multi-user, whereby any number of users can connect to the same database and edit data in real time subject to user rights. This means that multiple people can look at the same project at the same time, and any changes that are made are reflected in everybody else that's using the system. So in this situation here, we're managing multiple projects. We're a company that's managing multiple projects across multiple regions in Australia. Hence, we have the construction division, Queensland projects, Western Australia projects, and New South Wales. And you can see we're here at the overall enterprise project structure level, where we have all our projects listed with the progress and costs and start and end dates of each project rolled up. So Powerproject allows us to manage a portfolio or program of projects with dates and obviously with resources and costs. So this next view I'm going to show you again has our projects listed with 3 histograms at the bottom, and this first histogram is a accumulation of all of our labour across all of our projects. So we can see peaks when we need to employ more people and troughs where we may have too many people, but this allows us to balance resources across our portfolio of projects. The second histogram down is a cash flow graph which takes account of costs in the projects and income that's coming in. So it's very important to let you know that Powerproject covers income as well. And then the third histogram is our monthly costs, so we can see where money is going out each month. And all these histograms are dynamic, so if we were to move a project, we can immediately see the effects on our cash flow, our resources and our graphs. And Powerproject allows unlimited undo and redo, even past a save, which is very important. So time, cost and resource. And again in this next view we can see a balanced view of our designers that are working across all these projects. Each of these projects has a design element, so we're able to see who is working, or the number of designers that we need to employ. The light blue here is where we've satisfied this with individual people, and the dark blue is where we have what we call a pending demand. So at the inception of a project we can allocate the need for a designer, but at this time we don't know who we're going to employ, and as we get nearer the project we can allocate an individual resource. But it's important in the histogram view to accumulate both the designers, the named people that are allocated, and the pending demand. And again these histograms are dynamic, and I can drill down in these histograms to look at the individual allocations of individual designers. So within the designs I have a team made up of Jeff Smith, Hamid Khan, G Soon and Mary Richards, and I can see when I'm allocating resources who has work to do. So as well as obviously the overview of our enterprise projects, we have a world-class Gantt chart. Again you can see we have some tasks, some durations, start and finish, and we have a set of histograms at the bottom which are fundamentally the same as I showed you before. Powerproject to get very easy to use, very easy to draw activities onto the screen, and linking these activities together is all done with the mouse. I can create links, lead and lag quite simply, and again as I said we can undo and redo an unlimited amount of time. So if I was to create a new task here called approval 2, I could create my activity, link it to the finish of that task, and maybe attach a resource. So when I allocate a resource, that's very easy to do. Just go down to my resource library, and I can see that Hamid Khan has a space here, so I can allocate Hamid Khan just by dragging, and I get information that he's available to work on this task. And as soon as I do that, the histogram increases for Hamid Khan, and obviously on here my overall view this would have increased as well. So a very simple to use Gantt chart, and to allocate things like codes and costs just by dragging and dropping from the bar chart. And Powerproject allows us to model both permanent resources, labour and machines, and consumable resources, so materials such as bricks, concrete, paper, etc. The resource allocation I've done is a very simple allocation where Hamid Khan works across this activity, but he can be modelled to work during part of the activity, or the rate that he can work at could affect the duration of the task. Similarly, the amount of work that he has to do could affect the duration of the task. So a very powerful resourcing and project management system. One of the other benefits of Powerproject is the ability to have multiple tasks on a line. So this could be for a fit out program, finishes program, or a procurement program, or a house building program, and each of these activities can have their own resource allocation or their own code allocated to them. So if we find the codes, for example, we might have build stages, so I could allocate first stage to that, drainage to that, brickwork to that, and each of these again can have separate resource allocations, so they work as separate activities. It's a very good way of compressing the vertical printouts that we do. So if we go to another view here, again you can see we have the project activities, our Gantt chart, lots of activities and lots of logical links, and we have costs, a cost graph assigned. Now these hammocks here are our prelims, so they're reflecting the start and the end of where something might take place. So we need the site fencing between start on site and finish on site, and again if the tasks were to move, so would our cost histogram move. So it's all a very interactive Gantt chart. The columns that we have up here are completely user definable. There's a lot of options for progress, full progress items, earn value, all the earn value tokens you'd expect, the cost, all float information, lots of resource information, and logic as well if you wish to enter your logic into the Gantt chart. And also especially we have user fields which allow you to extend the database by adding different fields, maybe to represent more information that's relevant to your projects. And we can have formula as well, so formula can work on the existing tokens, maybe adding VAT or GST to a cost, or putting up priority indicators dependent on certain information. The formula is a very powerful part of the system. We can organise the Gantt chart via a work breakdown structure rather than the coding system or the hierarchy if we wish. So Powerproject has a work breakdown structure that we can use and apply to activities and organise the project that way. And you can see here we're starting to look at progress, and one of the real benefits of Powerproject is the ability to create an as-built program. What happened in each progress reporting period? So rather than just having one individual date now, Powerproject allows us to have a number of date nows, if you like, which are called progress periods, and we can apply progress against each particular progress period. So we're able to see what work happened in what particular progress period, and we can refer in columns to the amount of work that happened in a particular progress period. So rather than just showing one progress period, we could say how much was done in the first week of the project, or how much was done in the second week of the project, or how much cost was spent in the first week of the project or the first month of the project. So by doing this we're able to look at actually how much was done in a particular period as well as the cumulative. So these progress periods are very important to creating an as-built program, and once we have the as-built chunks they can be moved if necessary to reflect where the work actually took place. I mentioned multiple tasks on the line, and this is a procurement program which is linked through to the activities that we're procuring. But here we have multiple activities on the same line, and that's allowing us to put dates for each particular part of the procurement, so the design info out to tender, select subcontractor, manufacturer, mobilisation. And you can see not only can we have multiple activities on the same line that are coded up and coloured differently, these can overlap as well. So it's an extremely good feature if we're managing multiple tasks on the same line. If we want to move into traditional mode, they can be put on the same line if you so wish. But this enables us to create sequenced programs without taking up a vast amount of vertical space. And finally, progress. I mentioned to you the as-built program with the colours, and you can see we have a drop line here, and it's very easy for me to put in an amount of progress. So if I wanted to say that was 75% complete, you can see that goes to 75% complete. I can set actual starts and actual finishes, and I can set the remaining duration if I wish to progress up in that fashion. So once we have all that information, obviously we need to have a look at how we can get that out. So Powerproject has a business intelligence tool where we can run dashboards, user definable reports for executives to read the information. So rather than having to look through the Gantt charts in a reporting tool, be this SQL reporting services or Crystal reports, for example, we can create dynamic reports that can be clicked through that give relevant information to people that want to look at information. So an overview of the project information, perhaps a pie chart of which projects are on schedule, which projects are in progress and started, and ones that are starting this month. But as I say, this is user definable and allows you to create a set of business intelligence reports for management and stakeholders. Other reporting types are straight to HTML or to Excel. So this is a report of classic schedule sorted by start date and total float. So relevant information about a specific project. And this one here is a earn value report on all of our projects. So budgeted cost of work, scheduled work performed, actual cost of work performed, to give us estimates of completions and cost variances. So reporting is a very strong part of Powerproject and is very important. And finally, we can display information in Google Earth. So with our projects, remember they were graphically dispersed, so what I can do is to set a longitude and latitude for each of these projects and display that information then in Google Earth. So looking out, we have all of our projects here, our New South Wales projects, so New South Wales here, and I can zoom in and see the status of these projects. So rather than having again to look at a Gantt chart, I've got my projects and I can click on one of those and see some information about the project, when it started, when it finished, variance and the status. So the red ones here are behind, the yellow ones are on program, and the green ones are ahead of schedule. So it's a very good tool for me to be able to see at a glance the status of all my projects, and I can go to them in other ways using Google Earth functionality. So Google Earth is an exceptionally good way of displaying project data. So Powerproject also has some online tools, if you like, for reporting progress. So this is the Asta project browser, and what we have here, this responds to the user rights that are set in Powerproject. So can I edit a project, for example, and you can see we're in Surrey Hills design and we have the activities for Surrey Hills. So if I just find that particular project, so Surrey Hills design, and we have design. So what we have here is the ability to add some progress to the activities. So the approval task at the moment in Powerproject is not complete, there is no progress on it, but if I was to remote through the web, log in and add some progress in to that, make it 100% complete and update my project, you can see that this is now 100% complete. So this is a very good way of reporting progress. So many tools allow you to book man hours via a timesheet, but Asta Project Browser is fundamentally Asta Powerproject but without the Gantt chart, allowing people to create tasks, edit tasks, draw links, assign resources, and the most popular use is to assign progress remotely. So in terms of that could be in terms of percentage, or it could be in terms of quantity done, so bricks done or columns done, etc. And the final way of updating progress is via the timesheet. So here we're in Jeff Smith. So this is if you have direct resources and you want to track man hours done. So in this instance, Jeff is in the Crow project GA drawings. So if I just find the Crow project, so we can see Jeff Smith is allocated to the GA drawings, and I can put the amount of time that Jeff spent on the project, so maybe not so much that day, some there, and this tells me how many hours he's got left to do, and we can give him rights to change the hours remaining if we so wish, and we can save and submit that for approval. So then we could go in as the approver and approve that time to our timesheet, and this would update the progress, and you can see this is now locked to the timesheet. So Asta Powerproject is a full project and portfolio and resource management system that encompasses both time, cost and resources, with very powerful Gantt charts and very easy to use, and of course with the business intelligence and Google Earth at the back end, becomes a very viable proposition. Thank you.